Keith is looking like he's like a Mount Rushmore on top of us, and then Mike looks like he's sitting in a baby's chair.
Because I'm a tiny child.
Oh fuck.
That's not
With
what
that
I'm
being
seeing.
said, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to one of our favorite podcasts. And please I apologize in advance. I'm a little bit under the weather. Keith might know a similar story when we were in high school. I use the same excuse. Upstate New York, running for a pivotal position. And before my campaign speech, I started by saying the same thing. Apologies in advance. I'm a
I
little
only
bit
got
under the
three
weather.
hours of sleep.
I already got 3 hours of sleep. Damn, those are good times. But again, we're here by popular demand. 100 plus views on the NBA podcast, and the NBA is happening, ladies and gentlemen. So let's start with the two hottest topics, and I'm going to start with the first topic because it represents our own. First of all, apologies, introductions. Our very own Heroes Peak, Free Keith. Keith, how are you, my man?
I'm well.
Always
I am
good to
well.
see you in the pod. We missed you in the main pod, but we're glad we have you here on the side spinoff.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Awesome shit. And then our resident guest, he's almost on contract with us. Let's see how it goes. Mike, what's going on, Mike?
I'm doing well. It is
You're a
Cinco
mute,
de
Mike.
Mayo. We
Okay, there we go.
are celebrating here in the Mushati household in fashion, as you can see here.
Fuck.
I expect this to be a lively
I am
one.
not fucking
Uh,
surprised. Yo,
couldn't
we
find the
used to
lucky
have
charms days to work out the tequila.
Mike. We used to have some fantastic Cinco de Mayo celebrations after work hours. Holy shit! But
We
that's for
sure
another
did.
podcast. That's for Heroes Peak After Dark.
I went.
Um,
I went to a couple of those.
you did. I think that's how you guys met originally, before this podcast. All right, but perfect segue to New York City After Hours. The Knicks, the New York Knickerbockers, not only handled business in round one emphatically, but put their foot on the NBA imprint for round two opening game as well. Keith, I isolate. We're at the wings. It's you against whatever the defense is setting up. I'll let you cook.
But I mean, it's nothing to cook about. The job isn't done. The job isn't done.
All right, Kobe.
The job isn't done. Um, Here's the thing: as a disgruntled Knicks fan, the roller coaster, the roller coaster that is always a part of like the Knicks fiber is something that lingers in the back of your mind. So it's kind of like, yeah, that was a great game. That was a great game the night before. They had four great games in a row. Mm, is Jekyll gonna come out the next game? Is like, are they gonna mess around and be down 3-1? Like after this tremendous game, you just can't. They haven't built up enough trust yet to think that like, oh, like this is gonna consistently be the squad. But you know what? Until that does happen, we outside. We outside. We outside. You see my
We're
guys.
outside at D,
You
but
see my guys putting belt to ass. Belt to ass.
metaphorically, yes, I did see how they concluded round one and how they started round two. I did.
My fear was that, oh, okay. I look at the at Philly as a better team than the Hawks. I'm like, okay, we pulled that off on the Hawks. We realized we were the better team. I actually, as much as I hated losing those two games to the Hawks, we needed those two losses. We needed them
Mm,
because we haven't lost since.
mm. Well, let me pivot to Mike's same topic, but I have to refresh our audience members who watched our last week's the last podcast, where Mike did predict that these Hawks would start off very frisky. He did his terms, frisky. But the friskiness died out pretty quick during the rest of the series. Mike, what's your take on how the New York Knickerbockers took care of business in round one?
I think it kind of went as expected.
Mm,
I didn't expect them to go down 2-1. But look, this was the team that was going to put up a fight. Nikhil Alexander Walker put on a great show. All the young team hasn't really had a taste of this before, whereas the Knicks have tasted a lot of this over the last few years, and they handled their business and pushed
Pa-
things down with the
Pause.
Madison Square Garden crowd behind them.
pause indeed. Wow, that was short and brief. Well, let me switch the topic now to something that I know is going to start stoking your fires. The other team that was a semi-conference contender last year, they didn't quite make it. That also didn't make it this year either. Is your fave Boston Celtics? Um,
Mm.
Sadly, they lost in a tough game seven. They also lost their superstar Jason Tatum, and then my personal Celtic favorite player Jalen Brown couldn't handle business. I'm gonna again allow you this time to isolate and cook, and let me know what were your thoughts of how that series started, officiated, played, and ended. Cook.
Yeah, so the too long didn't read here is the better team won, right? Um, the idea that the team we faced was a 7 seed is kind of a misnomer. The team that ended up in the 7 slot and in the play-in tournament did not have a healthy Joel Embiid, did not have a healthy Paul George, right? And this was my fear with them. I think on the last podcast I mentioned that I was very unhappy with how the play-in tournament played out. I was
You
hoping to
did.
play the Magic or the Hornets or somebody else. This was the last team we wanted to face. And Daryl Morey's wet dream finally came true. He got healthy Embiid, healthy Paul George, with the young guns, Maxey and Edgecombe doing their thing. And unfortunately, for the second year in a row, injuries did play a role. Injuries play a role for every team in every NBA playoff, so it's not an excuse. Um, but at the end of the day, the Celtics lost this series for two reasons predominantly, and we could pick nits on a couple of other things. But reason number one is the Celtics played with their food in game two. They didn't come out with the same intensity that they had to in game one. We blew that team off the court in game one. Embiid was not back yet. And we lost a close game at home and thought, oh, shucks, it's fine. We're going to be okay. And
Mm,
then next thing you know, Embiid comes out of the cryo chamber, which apparently also has a time machine. I'd love to see that machine. I'd like to visit it myself. Uh, and kind of torched us in the second half of Game Five and for all of Game Six. And look, guys, I know like we're at odds with this, but once Tatum went down, we didn't have a shot, and we saw why after Tatum went down. While Jalen Brown is a fantastic player and carried this team through the regular season, two things are true. Playoff basketball is not regular season basketball. It's a completely different game. We're all watching it now. We're all seeing it now. And two, while Jalen is great at getting his own shot, while he's a fantastic defender, rebounder, does all the right things, he isn't as good at creating for others. He doesn't have that silky smooth dribble drives, jump stop, kick out, put the pass right in the pocket for a Peyton Pritchard or a Sam Hauser where they can just catch and immediately release, right? That's not his game. And that's the type of player that every contender has, whether you're talking about Shea, whether you're talking about Brunson, whether you're talking about Ant, whether you're talking about
Cade
who am I
Williams.
missing here? I
Cade.
mean, like take your pick, right? I mean, even on the Spurs, which are predominantly Wemby driven, they have De'Aaron Fox, they have Stephon Castle that can create for others, and without Jason Tatum, we did not have that guy. In terms of picking nits, I will say this: I did think uh, Jalen Brown specifically was on the receiving end of some interesting officiating.
There we go.
And I won't blame the referees. I will. This is for the kids, for the children out there that are listening. Hopefully, not too many. Your reputation matters. professionally and personally. Ever since Jaylen Brown went after that referee in the Spurs game when he got ejected, he got refereed differently the rest of the way down the stretch and into the playoffs. The guy got called for 10 offensive fouls in the first round. I think the next highest guy in terms of offensive fouls was 5. So double the next highest guy. And the push-offs he was getting called for, Maxey was doing it on every drive. Every good player does what he does in terms of extending the elbow, not fully extending the arm.
The SGA does it a lot. Yep.
Please. SGA does it and then gets the foul. Doesn't get called for the foul. He goes to the line when he
It's
does it.
air
Right?
one.
But look, that's picking this. At the end of the day, this team was not a contender. I did expect them, I said on the last podcast, to come out of the East barring injury. I still believe with a healthy Jason Tatum, they win Game 7. I mean, if you can't tell me he's a 6-point difference in that Game 7 at home, I don't know what Jason Tatum you've been watching the last 10 years. But that said, even if they squeak by the Sixers and go into MSG and maybe handle the Knicks, I said it on the last podcast. The Celtics and no team in the East, sorry guys, is going to contend with OKC or the Spurs or the Wolves or the Nuggets if they were still in it for that matter in a 7-game series. So I still expect the champion to come out of the West. This was supposed to be a gap year for the Celtics. They made a lot of moves, got rid of Drew Holiday, got rid of Porzingis, got under the tax. We're kind of where we thought we would be, but with a much worse draft pick and a little bit of heartbreak. It is what it is. This is sometimes the tax that you pay when you win a championship 2 years earlier. Someday you might experience this. I don't know. But I can say just about every team that goes all in and wins a chip.
So I was going to say,
Eventually the bill comes to the dinner table and you got to pay the bill. That was us this year. Candidly, I kind of feel lucky that we got an enjoyable season out of it because going into the season, I did not expect much. They totally exceeded expectations. And now I just hope, come October, we've got a healthy Jason Tatum on 2 legs. He's back on first team all NBA, doing his thing. I also hope they don't overreact and that we keep Jaylen Brown. I know there's been trades, so forth and so on. But we've got a lot of cap flexibility. We have 5 trade exceptions. We're under the tax. Free agents don't come to Boston, which is a bit of a problem. That's why the trade exceptions are very valuable for a team like Boston. But I'm still optimistic about the future of the Jays, the future of the Boston Celtics. All that said, it's got me thinking.
Oh boy.
About the regular season. Does it matter at all? You know, the Celtics ran roughshod over most of the Eastern Conference in the regular season. The Sixers kind of rested their guys, let their guys sit, let their guys take PEDs, and then use that suspension to get under the tax themselves.
Damn, shots fired.
Only for them to all come back healthy right in time for the playoffs and beat a 2 seed. And we see the Magic, do the same thing unintentionally because they're Orlando Magic, right? They don't have real management or leadership.
They just fired the coach.
Almost take the 1 seed down, right? Yeah. And then you see the Timberwolves without Anthony Edwards in Game 7 take down the 3 seed Nuggets. Does the regular season matter at all? And I do wonder now, will other teams take this kind of approach to the playoffs? On the last pod, I was like, let's expand the play-in tournament. I'm now doubling down on that idea because it seems the only incentive in the regular season now is to avoid the 7 seed. Home court does not seem to matter.
I like that.
And if you're healthy at the right time, it does not matter who you're going to face. It does not matter if you have home court. Just have your guys healthy, rested, ready to go, and you've got a shot.
Keith, what's your take on Mike's point right there? It's a good one.
It's a good point on its face, but I think he's doing a lot of projecting singularly to this season. Like, I don't think I don't think in a general sense, all the teams want to get their guys to the playoffs as healthy as possible. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not, although I wouldn't put it past Philly, they probably were the ones who snitched on Paul George. they snitched. They probably snitched on Paul George.
But hold
Um,
on, let me be clear. From what I heard from Mike, he's saying after this season, some teams will take a look at what just transpired and try to replicate that. I think that's what Mike was trying to get at.
Let me give you.
they
Before you answer, Keith, let me give you an example. If you're the Boston Celtics, right? You bring back Jason Tatum. You got him playing 30 minutes a game. You're trying to ramp him up for the playoffs. He gets hurt in Game 6. He's out for Game 7. You lose the series, right? Do you do that again based on what you've seen,
no, but
or
this
do you
is
just rest him for the playoffs?
you
Keep
have
him out. Keep him fresh.
you have a back office. You have scouts. You have a capologist. Like, that's why you have those people in the back. Like, your team shouldn't really be stat. I don't even care if you win a chip. I don't even care if you win a chip. Your team shouldn't be like, there should be movement of players and trades and pickups and you know what I'm saying? Like those things should be a part of the recipe by some degree every year, win or lose. You know, so it's not like they're never going to come back with exactly the same guys. Whether it be a trade for man number 13 or 11, it's going to be some. There's going to be some freshness, some difference. Somebody gone, somebody there. Yeah, I don't. No team is just staying the same. Is my point. So like that's by some degree. So so if that happens to you, you come out and determine the degree to which you might need to change or make moves, or who are you going to target for a trade? I doubt it. I doubt you just run it back with the same exact people after just getting after not making. That doesn't make any sense. I would think.
Well, of course. I mean, this season for the Celtics was all about getting rid of players and getting rid of salary, which is what makes like what they did in the regular season pretty remarkable, right? Like we got rid of Porzingis, we got rid of Drew Holiday, we made a terrible trade at the trade deadline, get rid of Simons, bring on Vooch just to get under the tax, right? So now going into next season, we're free and clear, and we will look different next year, hopefully with some new additions. Um, the free agency class doesn't look great, but there's always plenty of disgruntled superstars in the NBA that you can go get. But I think my point still like remains the same. If you were the Celtics and you're looking back, putting those minutes on Brown and Tatum over the last 4 weeks of the season just to stay ahead of the Knicks in the standing, just to have Game 7
You
at
got to
home against the
compete.
Knicks, if that ever came
You
to
got to
fruition,
compete.
seems like fool's gold
Here's my
now.
little.
Seems like the
Here's
move
my.
would have been like rest everybody, get everybody ready to go. If we got to go to MSG in Game 7, so be it, because home court does not matter for the Celtics. We lost 3 games at home to the freaking Sixers.
But you don't
You
see,
you know.
you don't know that going in though. Like,
And yeah,
they were the favorites going in. Yeah, so your bitterness is speaking from a sort of a hindsight of
I
events
mean,
that
yeah.
it's
already
not that.
happened, but you can't. They didn't know those events would
Here's.
happen
I mean,
before.
Mike. I think your take was very good. My issue is in practical terms. Unless you're the top two seeds in each conference, it doesn't make sense for you to play that long game where you're resting players because you don't know how quickly, because of other teams and how they're playing, a young team versus a veteran team, how quickly you can go from three to play. Could be like within a month you're in a plan now, which you don't want to be in.
But ask Daryl Morey if that matters.
Well,
But
Daryl
see,
Morey has a
He
terrible
would tell you it
team and
doesn't.
chemistry.
They were
Period.
in the play-in, they beat the Magic, and then they went into Boston and kicked some ass with all their healthy guys.
Dude,
Like,
90%,
just putting it out there. I mean,
90% of the GMs wouldn't do that because, like, honestly, if you're like James was saying, unless you're like a shoe in for the playoffs,
And by
norm,
shooing, I mean top two.
yeah, not numbers one or two, really, like, what strategy behind resting my top guys for games to keep them fresh, and we're losing those games. Like
Yeah.
the regular season, those wins matter on the tail end in the playoffs. Like, they matter. Whether, I
They
know
do.
people like to fracture the two.
Yeah.
It's the regular season and the playoffs, but that's the relationship. You're
This is why coaches get fired too. Had Orlando Magic coach played that game, didn't win. He's fired.
and they took a game in Detroit. I mean, they
Yeah.
took the 1 seed to 7 games. I mean, that guy got fired for other reasons. Like the offense looked like a clogged toilet. So um,
he
I don't
definitely
know. It's
didn't
something to think
he
about.
didn't maximize Paolo.
Yeah. He
It's
did.
I
something
thought
to think about. But
Banchero's supposed to be much
that's kind
better
of my
than him.
little Celtics rant, if you will. Before we move on to the rest of the Eastern Conference or the rest of the playoffs, look, honestly, if Tatum's healthy, I do think we take Game 7 at home.
I don't
I think a
disagree.
top 5 guy in the NBA is a 6 point difference in a game like that at home. Especially the way he came out in Game 6. He had 9 points and 9 rebounds in the first quarter in Game 6. He was a man on fire, pretty much that entire game until he got hurt. Um, it's just something to think about, especially when you have established players that have won a chip coming off an injury. If you got a young team, I agree that might not be the move. But we just saw what the Celtics did, where they played their guys, they pushed them, they played for seeding, and we saw what happened. And you look at what the Sixers did, where they've got established guys that know what they're doing, that have been through the fight before. You bring them along slowly, give them what they need, and get them ready, and they push through. It's an interesting thing to think about, is all I'm saying.
It is. It's my last take on this before we move on to round two. Is I think Jason Tatum, the issue that he shouldn't have come back.
I was
He
just
came
gonna
back
say that.
early. He came back early. He looked pretty good after that first couple games, and then everybody got excited, and then you guys put all your chips in. But to your point, Mike, the playoffs is different. The back to backs, the how much more physical it is. His body wasn't ready after so much time off to get right into the thick of things. Mentally, he might have been, but physically, he was. And I watched Game 6, and I was like, "Yo, this dude looks like he's getting banged up." And I think I might have texted his group, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not so sure if he's gonna make it." And then, boom, morning of, he's not available. Same thing with Embiid, which we'll get to
You're kind of
round
making my
two.
point, though. He had been playing since the beginning of March. Paul
Yeah,
George and Joel Embiid walk out of the
but you
limo
don't
a week
know
before the
what
playoffs
what
start,
did the impact
and they're
of
freshmen.
Jalen of Jason Tatum do to get them to this far in the playoffs or even in their seedings? We'll never know. It's a bunch of what ifs. We'll never know.
Yo, the
All
team
right.
was playing.
But this is my point.
The team was clicking, and they changed.
Yeah.
They actually had to change up the whole set when
Yeah.
Jalen came. I mean, when
Shouldn't have done it.
JT came back, and they shouldn't have done that. And
Shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have done it.
honestly, he, you guys knew y'all wasn't getting the chip anyway. He should have just rested. Like, he should have literally.
Just like
He came back
Halliburton and the Pacers.
way too early. They were clicking. And I'm telling you, if they came into the playoffs how they were without JT, y'all would be sitting playing us right now.
I
Guaranteed.
think I think they would have beaten. Yeah, I think they would have beaten it. Yes, I
Guarantee it.
think they would have beaten the
No way.
Sixers. I think they would have beaten the
No
Sixers.
way.
Jalen,
Yeah,
No way.
Jalen is for all the dislike or whatever. There's a reason why he got Finals MVP, bro. Like,
he took a step back. I saw him. He took
yeah,
a step back.
Jalen is a leader. He's the leader. He's a leader of those men. Like, he's the one. I don't know if y'all see that or not, but it's Jalen.
I see it. I see it. Mike and I argue about it all the time. Sometimes I might be a little bit tipsy and I'll say he's a better player. I might be a little carried away, but fucking Jaylen Brown is a phenomenal player when his back against the wall and he's playing in confidence. He lost his confidence once Tatum returned for whatever reason. I don't know the personal
So what
chemistry.
you
I don't know
mean?
Coach Missoula. I don't know. All I know is what I saw on the court.
You
I
fall back
saw
to
him
second
take a
fiddle.
deference. He took a big deference to Jason, who was
But the
the
team
franchise
changed
player.
too.
But the team chemistry changed, and then you put him back in the limelight in Game 7. I was shocked. I came in thinking he was going to have that Jaylen Brown game, and I was probably more disappointed than you as a Celtics fan. You are, not me, because I didn't get the output. I didn't get the output from him that I was expecting to see. But then my logical brain started putting the calculations. Yeah, that holds. He's been out of whack since Tatum returned, and it's too late now in a Game 7 to get him to go back to that
Yeah,
form that he
like,
was before
but if
Tatum's
they were
return.
already playing like that team, I'm telling you, y'all would have been good.
Listen, that all works in the regular season. I said at the beginning of my point, the playoffs are different. When you've got Paul George, a healthy PG-13, locking you up, and the Sixers are sending help every single time, leaving Kata open or leaving whoever open, leaving the corpse of Derek White open. God knows what happened to him in
The
this
fuck
series.
happened to him? He
Because let's
wasn't
be
that bad
honest,
during
he
the
just hits
playoff.
a couple.
All right.
Jalen does not have the handles and the passing to create for others. So when you get in the playoffs and the game slows down and you're not in transition and you're not in place where people aren't sending help, now it gets a lot harder for him. We've seen it.
Yeah, but that's like
And by
saying
the way, he
Giannis
got
because
Finals
Giannis doesn't
MVP
have
last year.
Done,
handles.
The media
done.
doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. I mean,
Those guys
Tatum created
respond
everything
better.
for everybody all of 2024.
Those guys respond better to Jalen's leadership than they do to Tatum, my friend. That
The,
is a sad fact.
just ask the
You might be
corpse
right.
of Derek
I don't know.
White.
I'm not in that locker
That's
room. I don't
hilarious.
know.
All right. Speaking of not in a locker room, the Celtics, they're not in round 2 playoffs. Let's talk about the round 2 real quick.
R.I.P.
Let's
Celtics.
RIP Celtics. RIP. We'll see you guys next year. Gone fishing with Mike Verbel and Diana
Gone fishing.
Reese. Those two are gonna get burned, even in NBA. So a couple of game ones already happened. We've got game 2 already scheduled. Knicks, man, those fucking Knicks. I don't want to beat this conversation to death. Knicks are playing awesome. They're a scary team. But I was really
Um,
shocked with the Spurs.
historically awesome. I'm just wanted to point that out. But go ahead.
Thank you for the fact check. Thank you. Fact check.
Okay.
Fact check. Yeah. Okay. The Spurs lost last night, game 1, to the Timberwolves, who featured a player that was hurt and missing from a pivotal game against the Nuggets, who looked very spry and very healthy game 1. Collusion, conspiracy, that be said. I want to start with Mike this time because I felt like I cut you off a lot in the last combo. Mike, what's your take so far on these 2 games, round 2? What you saw with your own eyes, what's your brain telling you, and anything else you're thinking about?
Well, Wolves Nuggets, right? Yet again, another example of how the regular season just may not matter, right? They got to go on the road. They got to go into Denver at altitude, beat Joker, who Keith, according to Keith, should have been the MVP the last 20 years in a row. And they did it without Ant-Man, right? What's interesting about the T-Wolves is they kind of built this team to beat Denver, and
Nuggets.
they did a great
Yeah,
job, but almost on accident, the
they got a
same
loss.
blueprint
Okay.
is very effective against Oklahoma City and San Antonio, because those teams are built very similarly to the way that Denver is built, with the center being the focal point. I mean, less so OKC, but
I'm
big men
losing
play a
you,
big
Mike.
part.
Yeah.
What was that? Oh,
I was losing you for a couple seconds.
sorry. So just another example of how the regular season might not matter. I watched that game last night. Anthony Edwards is a scary human being. If I saw him in my cul-de-sac dribbling a basketball, I would immediately call the police.
Whoa! Whoa!
That guy, you just don't know what he's gonna do. He came off the bench last night was barely doing anything.
He
I think
said
it
that
was
dude
at
was dribbling in my cul-de-sac.
11 points in 90 minutes in the fourth quarter to finish it off, right? And did you see the press conference after the game? Could have played better. Shouldn't have turned the ball over, right? Keith, you want to talk about leadership? That's leadership. Jaylen Brown goes on a podcast after the game complaining about the referees.
I
I don't
didn't like that.
necessarily agree with you that
I didn't like
it
that either.
resonates to
I
that
didn't
kind of
like that.
leadership. I
So
will
right
say
after
this.
the game
I will
No.
too.
say this.
Yeah, that was.
They definitely resonate with Anthony Edwards' leadership. That guy is the guy. And I really think that they're going to beat the Spurs. I think this is where the Spurs get a taste of playoff medicine. They get a little playoff Robitussin. And look, the Spurs are going to be great for 5, 6, 7 years. I would totally bet on them to win a title within that window. But we've seen this time and again, right? We saw this with the Thunder in 2024 when they lost to the Mavs inexplicably, when they were more talented, the outright better team, probably the better coach in that series as well. I do expect now the Wolves, based on what I saw last night, to take care of business against the Spurs, and they will be facing the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals.
Before I get to Keith on this, I want to tell you something real quick about why I think you might be onto something, and it's not because of the players or the leadership of Anthony Edwards. I think the coaching matters here in this particular series. I think Mitch Johnson, man, he's younger than all of us, at least me by a decade, Keith. I know he's been an assistant for the Greg Popovich, one of the OGs, for at least 6 years or so. But what he hasn't been battle tested, and you can tell some of the adjustments with Wimby and the team were lacking in that second half. And I think that's coaching. That's not the players and the chemistry in the court. That's your coach failing to make adjustments. Now, if Greg Popovich can roll himself to the locker room and watch some film and advise, and they can make the right adjustments, on paper they should beat the Timberwolves. But he's got to coach the team and make adjustments on the fly, which Greg Popovich can't do for him. This is where the coaching does matter in the series. And if it's what I think it's going to be, you might have a point. It might be Timberwolves in six. Sad to say it. Not because the Timberwolves are a better team, they just happen to be better coached in this series. Keith, please feel free to add on.
Yeah, that speaking on that Timberwolves Spurs matchup, I think as I watched it, it looked like they're not like the Timberwolves aren't scared to take it to Wemby at the rim. He had 12
Yep.
blocks. He had 12 blocks. And even that rookie kid on Minnesota, I love him. I love his attitude. Um, was swatting them joints. A couple got through this, that, 12 blocks. You have a triple double with blocks, you're a monster. You're a monster.
Yeah, it's
But
only been him, Wilt, and well, not Wilt, Olajuwon,
but
the only two.
but what that did is now they get more guys being able to hit from the perimeter because he can't get out there now. And
Yeah,
that and literally taking him out of the action, you know what I'm saying? Like by having him have to patrol the paint. And
yeah,
yes, he's long. Yes, he could get in a couple steps and this, that, and the other. But like it gives me now some flexibility, and I know I can move him. I can move him to the rim when I want to. So now if if I, if I went to the rim 2 times, 3 times, 4 times up the court at you swatted 3 of the 4 of them. Now that fifth time you think I got you. You're gonna meet me at the rim now. You're gonna meet me in the paint. But this time I know I've got you. I know that you're gonna meet me at the paint. This is where I wanted the game to get to. Now I'm spraying it out. Now I know my guys is wide open. Yeah, now I know I got two guys in the corner open because I know you just collapsed on me like the four times you just did, and I'm hitting you again. But this time,
It's a pattern.
it's a pattern.
Yeah.
But by the time I realize I got you in the pattern, you don't realize that you're in the pattern.
You don't realize that. And your coach doesn't either, because your coach doesn't make adjustments to get you out of that position.
And
Extremely fair.
by the time they figured it out, this is when Wemby actually started to go off a little bit toward I think the third or fourth quarter. And now he was patrolling the perimeter. Like he was starting his defensive actions from the perimeter. If I gotta chase you in, maybe, or this, that, and the other, but like you ain't getting you're not getting these shots, and it's enough room. I could get to the paint in two steps. So if you
Mm.
watch the game, you could see how that changed and evolved, but it was just done too late. They could have won that game.
I agree.
They could have
They
won
could have
that
won
game.
that game.
And it's the coach. It's a novice coach not catching things, or as I say, catching things too late. Because it's
Yeah.
obviously him that made the adjustment.
Correct.
It's obviously him
Correct.
that made the adjustment. But like it was going on the whole first half.
Mike, I just saw you. You're licking your lips here. Pause. Any thoughts to that before we move on to the rest of round two?
I think I think it is time to call the flower shop and give Rudy Gobert his flower.
Oh shit.
After what he did to Joker last series, that was the worst playoff series Joker has ever had. And then last night, Wemby was awful. He didn't go off at all. 5 for 17, 0 for 8 from three. This is all Rudy Gobert is doing. And I kind of it's fun to watch because there's a little French on French thing going on, which if you look at my search history, you know I like to watch that in general. But if you have been watching the playoffs, this is the second all-time big man in a row that Rudy Gobert is giving problems to and is locking up and kind of taking out of the game from a defensive perspective.
They
And
need to
he's
test
just a
that dude for
nasty dude.
PEDs. When's the last
He's
time you got tested for a PED?
Doug, it's
Well,
about time.
look,
It's about time.
he
Like
was
this
good
dude has
enough.
been a defensive player of the year how many times now? And then don't show up in the playoffs
He's
like
a
a
nasty.
defensive player of the year. Like this is the first time I'm actually seeing him show up in the playoffs like a defensive player of the year.
Yeah. We want to test that dude. Test him.
Look, he's just a nasty dude. He's bumping, he's pushing, he's making people uncomfortable. I mean, guys, let's not forget. Almost 6 years ago, he just like wiped COVID off his face and put it all over all the mics in a press conference. Like this guy's just nasty. He don't care about anybody's feelings, about if anybody gets hurt, and he's playing that way still, and it's effective. And you kind of got to give the T Wolves credit because when they had Cat and they had Gobert, excuse me, when they had Cat and they traded for Gobert,
Hmm.
the general thinking was this is dumb. Why are they doing this? They already have the big da 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 da. Then they moved the soft big man to your Knicks. They keep the real guy who's going to spread COVID on your face if you look at him wrong. And now he just messed up Joker. He's messing up Wemby. And, the next round, if and when they get there, he's going to give Chet problems. He's going to give Hartenstein problems. He's going to give
Oh,
Jay Will.
he's gonna eat those two guys alive if he
He,
gets that far.
and SGA might want to think twice about foul banning him because he'll just cut his head off and take the foul. He don't care.
All right, let's switch gears here near the end of this conversation. The rest of round two, you could pick whichever team you want to talk about. Keith, you don't have to say the Knicks, but I understand if you do pick the Knicks. Round two. Let me start first this time because I'm losing on my voice here. Thunder versus Lakers, Spurs versus Wolves. We talked about Knicks versus Sixers. I'm sure Keith will want to talk about, and then Pistons versus Cavs. Pistons versus Cavs. I'm not overly excited to see. Um,
Nobody is.
I am kind of, I'm just kind of curious to see who comes out of that because they're automatically going into the conference finals. What a world we live in. Spurs and Timberwolves. I think we just talked about pretty good. Knicks and Sixers. We talked about a little bit earlier. But the Thunder and Lakers going under the radar for a lot of folks, even except for ESPN, home of the Lakers and Cowboys, and my beloved Yankees. I think this is going to be an interesting matchup not because of the drama of LeBron and his sperm playing, against the reigning champs. OKC, the little team that could from a small market, now going for back to back champions. SJE, the right now looks like he is the dominant MVP candidate since we lost Joker and Wibby hasn't been meeting his performances. I think this series is probably the more exciting for me as a quote unquote. I'm not a casual NBA fan. I'm just saying, if I'm a casual NBA fan, this is the series I'm watching more because it's got superstar names, it's got ESPN driven narratives, it's got all this what will happen, yada yada yada. Who I think is going to win? OKC and 5. Um, but it's not going to make. I don't think every game will be a blowout. I think there are going to be some very close games. Each game, each of the 5 will be close. Maybe not the closeout game, but the at least definitely the first 4 games, especially the game 3 in Los Angeles. I think
Is,
that's going to be maybe even overtime game.
is Luca
The
back?
refs are going to. No, Luca's not back. They said if Luca might be back as early as game 6. That's what I heard as
They're,
of
get,
this morning.
they're getting swept.
But
You
then
know
it's
what the
not making
problem
it
with
a game
that is? There
6.
won't be a game.
So
There
Luca will
won't be
be
a game
back
6. I take
game
the words
6
out
of
of your
next
mouth,
season.
James. There won't be a game 6.
The Lakers are getting
Game
swept.
6 of next
That's
season.
it.
He's coming back game 6 of
Yeah.
next season.
Thank you, Keith. Thank you. Thank you. The Lakers are getting swept.
The
Um,
Thank you.
Lakers are getting.
Yes.
I was like, what was all that talk about? Are you? That's what I asked. I was like, wait, is Luca back? Luca's not back.
hold on. I
Well,
want to make sure the ESPN
It's just
executive send
it's
me
just
my
great
check.
to know I'm not the only one drinking right now.
Hey,
Based on what I just
ESPN,
heard.
send me my
That's
check.
LeBron,
Make sure
LeBron and Bronny gonna be OKC a game. Which game,
they're gonna have game 3 in LA.
bro?
They're gonna send the Jalen Brown reps straight to that
They
game.
they shouldn't have got past Houston. Much less. Okay, they're gonna get washed. Like if
Dude,
if this isn't
Austin
a sweep,
Reeves is
if
gonna
this
have
isn't
the
a
game
sweep,
of his career.
if this isn't a sweep, Knicks in 5 of the chip of the championship this year.
Oh God. All right.
If
To
Which
this
get
game?
isn't
to
a if
James'
this isn't a sweep, it's gonna be a Knicks OKC finals match, and Knicks is doing it in 5. If OKC can't put away the Lakers in 4.
All right. Mike, the floor is yours. Round
to
2.
get to James's original point, the most exciting series for a casual fan, I think, is actually Knicks Sixers.
Hell yeah!
Um, Lots of star power, MSG, Philly.
Star power.
I mean, look, last night's result was predictable. We don't really know what the Sixers are going to look like in this series yet. Embiid was always going to be a corpse after playing 3 games or 4 games in 6 nights and coming off that game 7 in Boston. It was pretty obvious that the Knicks were going to win last night. I'm really curious to see what happens in game 2. Because I do think that this healthy Sixers team, if Embiid can get in the
Embiid,
cryo chamber, find a way to move again, the
Embiid
way
is
he did
not gonna
against the
make it.
Celtics.
He's not gonna make it to the end of the series. Y'all know that. I
You know the
hope we
Right.
games
all
just
We just,
get
we just,
tougher, right?
understand
we
that.
just went
The
over this. I'm
games,
trying to run through them all
I hope
season.
we
game
Right?
all
2,
understand that.
game 2 is 48
But,
hours later, and it gets tougher.
There is
but
no
I
way he's
cannot
playing this whole series. No way.
I'm
I
sorry.
cannot I
Mike.
cannot miss a second. As a serious NBA fan, I cannot miss a second of this Spurs Wolves series. You got the front center against the front center. You got the young guns against the young guns, right? Like, there's so much good stuff going on here. So much good stuff.
the only the
I think that's
only
going to go 7, and I think it's going to be fantastic.
the only least lesser interesting matchup is Detroit Detroit and what
Cavs.
the and the Cavs.
The Cavs. Yeah.
Nobody's watching that chat.
No one is
I'll
watching
tell you
it.
what, though, the Pistons are interesting because they showed a lot of resolve,
Yeah.
and we've seen teams that are like this Pistons team is new to the playoffs. Like, we forget that because they're a 1 seed, but they're relatively
No,
new
they were here
to
last year.
to being a playoff favorite, to
Oh,
being a title contender. These are new shoes for them to fill, and it kind of made me think back to my '08 Celtics, who needed 7 games in round one,
Uh,
7 games
the
in
last
round two,
Celtics team I
and
rooted
7 games in round three before they got to the finals and took care of the Lakers in 6. I think this Pistons team is worth watching. I think the series isn't going to be very exciting, but I think they're worth watching to see how they develop their playoff persona, as I like to call it, and see what they can form into. Are they going to toughen up? Are they going to harden enough? Does Bernie Bickerstaff have what it takes in terms of playoff chops to get this team actually over the hump? Or was round one a harbinger of things to come? And I got to say, now that they're only up 3 with 4 minutes to go, maybe we're wrong and we should be watching this series. I don't know.
Fair. Fair,
Mm,
fair enough.
yeah, it's getting 5 minutes to go. All right, Keith. Round two matchup you're looking forward to. If it's the Knicks, so be it. But if it's another team,
I mean,
let us know.
I definitely no. I'm I'm looking forward, of course, as a Knicks fan, to this Knicks. Like they're rivals. You know what I'm saying? Mitch got something to prove. Like this joint to me could be a very spicy. Embiid and Cat got beef. They physically fought. Like this to me is like about to be like premium spicy TV.
Spicy,
Spicy
spicy.
TV.
Pause. Pause. Um, that's actually pretty good. And we're gonna segue to the last topic because we're getting late here. Wild card. The one thing I want to mention because of the superstars, Philly and New York. I recognize that my faux pas is yes. Although you guys, I don't believe you guys have the same stars as LeBron and SGA, but it is New York, Philly. I mean, the sports market, that's like two of the three. LA being one of the other three, but they're playing against OKC. Something that I looked into earlier today, I want to bring up is the whole idea of doom and gloom, the NBA with losing viewers, not enough fans are watching the season. These guys don't play too hard into the playoffs. I didn't realize until today that the 2026 NBA playoffs first round has been the highest in 33 years. The game 7 of the Sixers and Celtics was the most watched first round game 7 ever, averaging 11 million viewers on NBC Peacock. By the way, NBC also aired the 1993 Chicago Bulls New York Knicks game 7. We remember that. It didn't beat the viewers for this particular game. And then lastly, the first round delivered the most watched in 33 years, averaging 4 million viewers per game across ESPN, ABC, Amazon Prime, NBC, and Peacock. I, for one, talked a lot of shit in the beginning of the season about the 7 different streaming services you need to make sure you had in order to watch an NBA game any given night. You know what? I was wrong. It worked out because who doesn't care is my son's generation and your son's generation, Mike. They don't care how many apps they need. They'll get the game when they want to watch it. They'll get it. It's old fogies like me that's like looking for my regular cable. Oh shit, I gotta fire up this app. Oh shit, I gotta fire up my Peacock. What's my login? Yada yada yada. People like me that are complaining about it, we're dead wrong. The NBA, to the credit to their marketing team and the minds behind this, the intelligentsia behind this idea, knew exactly what they were fucking doing, and it's working. That's my
Yeah,
wild
well,
card
look,
bracket.
guys. I mean, guys, I'm 20 years younger than you, so I don't have these problems with the apps. But the one
Mofo,
thing I will say, the one thing I will say,
he stop your cap.
the one thing I will say, what if you want to watch like 2 games, like like when you had the clicker back in the '80s and you used to be able to use the last button and click
Picture in
between
picture.
2 games and go back and forth. Going from Peacock to Amazon, I could make a sandwich and read a magazine in the time it takes for the apps to like switch and reload. And that part of the viewing experience isn't great. But other than that, yeah, like I think Amazon did a great job with the package. I think if you're paying attention, the games are relatively easy to find. And if you want to talk about viewing and ratings and everything, you need to look no further than the Heroes Peak NBA podcast.
Oh, nice. Um, any other wild card, Keith?
Any other wild card? Uh,
Unless you've been 100% satisfied with the playoffs so far and
I,
and the league as a whole.
I mean, there's always, come on, man. There's always pain points, I guess. Like, I myself personally, I want something to be definitively done about tanking. I hate that. I hate it. I hate it. I think it goes against the whole idea of sport. I think like it's sad that it's something that has to be regulated. You know what I'm saying? Like it's but that probably is the biggest thing the uh, that's sticking in my craw, let's say. But I'm I'm good with the multiple streaming. Once I saw the kind of money, like these people who run these multi-billion-dollar corporations are not stupid. Yeah, like we look at a move they make and like, oh, that makes 0 sense. Why would they do that? Like I run a 1 billion-dollar corporation that don't make moves just by happenstance. Like we get surprised, like, oh, the numbers are up. Like, the numbers are up. Wow, wow, they did know
Did
what they were doing. It's weird. Like,
did
huh?
did you as a Knicks fan just say that James Dolan isn't stupid?
I don't think James.
Oh.
Look. I don't think James Dolan is stupid. I think I think he doesn't know basketball management. I don't think he's stupid.
Oh,
He knows how to
is
run
that?
Yeah, I
cable
don't
Oh
think he's
vision.
no!
stupid.
Wait, wait, wait.
He
I don't
knows how
think
to
he's
run
stupid.
cable vision and
The reason
MSG.
He knows
the
how to run
reason Penn
cable vision.
Station MSG is a snapshot of the 1972 finals is because he's bad at basketball. I'm having a hard time
No,
getting there
no,
with that.
no. That was his pops at that point. Actually, his pops was much better at
Yeah,
basketball. His pops was better
yeah,
at
and his pop
basketball
does some
than
stuff. He
he
built a
was.
business.
But what his pops was better at though was just letting other people run it, letting the
Yeah, you know
people
what's a
whose
book
jobs there were to do
like
the jobs
Abraham
that they were
Lincoln?
paying to do.
There's a good book that about Abraham Lincoln and eventually Obama did the same thing. Was you don't have to be the smartest person in the room if you're the president. You just have
And
to surround yourself with the smartest people
it,
and use your own good judgment and when to apply things.
that's
So
it.
I'm doing this right now. Ready? Dumb owners. Ready? Gail Benson, New Orleans Pelicans. James Dolan, New York Knicks. Tillman Fertitta on the verge of bankruptcy. Houston Rockets, who thought going and getting Twitter fingers was going to help his team. How'd that work out? And then he doubles down and hires Ime Udoka to coach Twitter fingers. Like, come on now, right?
Yeah, but
Let's go on down the list. Dan Gilbert, who ran the best player of a generation out of town, then wrote an FU letter and posted it to Twitter. Stupid, right? Let's go on down the list here.
well, we know why
Uh,
Dolan's on that list.
I mean, there's plenty of Vivek. Oh my God, Vivek of the Kings.
Oh my God, he's
Vivek.
terrible. Yeah, he's terrible.
If Vivek wanted to buy my house, I'd be thrilled. I'd be thrilled. Like I'd be so thrilled. I know I'm getting a deal,
Don't
and I'm
bother about this
retiring,
appraisal
and I'm
number.
moving to the Carolina Coast.
Everything here
Uh,
permit.
Alex Rodriguez is a partial owner of the Seawolves. Thank God, only a partial owner. We'll just leave that at
Alex
that.
Rodriguez,
Like
leave my guy
this is
alone.
just me. uh, Joseph Tsai about like the Brooklyn
Oh
Nets.
shit.
What the hell is he been doing? Like this is just me off the cuff looking at a list and picking out some names, and that's a third of the owners right there. So I don't know if I can
They don't. They're,
agree with
they're bad at
that these guys
basketball.
at all these
They're bad
corporations are
at
broke.
They're
basketball.
bad. They
They're
don't
great
know
at business
basketball.
management.
They should stick
Because
to
I guarantee you,
what their
if you look at
competence
every
is.
one of these teams, they are now overvalued for when the owners purchase every one of those teams,
Keith,
especially
Keith,
Dolan.
is is Gary Reinsdorf bad at basketball or just a cheap old?
Look.
Because I'm not going
One,
to the
one,
podcast.
one does not cancel out the other. He could be both. I don't know. All I know definitively is he's bad at basketball. What he was good at whatever got him to basketball. He should be focused on that and letting the people who are good at basketball run the basketball. A lot of these,
See
a lot
that?
of those owners
Hear
that
that,
you see,
Jerry?
they
Hear,
come
hear
in.
that, Jerry?
The
Jerry,
the only
Jerry
owners,
Reinsdorf.
the only owners in the league that is qualified to run the actual basketball is the Lakers. Is the Bus family.
Did you
That's
hear
it.
that? Did you hear that,
Because
Jerry? Keith is willing to take the
because that's
bull
their
off your
job.
hands for the
They
right
don't
price.
own other businesses.
that's it. That's their
No,
job.
to Keith's point, the Bus family, the Lakers is their main source of income. They don't have multiple
They don't.
oil, shipping, television, entertainment, cable vision. I mean, in fact, they bought Time Warner Spectrum because they needed something to get more money revenue. But again, that's directly connected with the Lakers. So the Bus family is a great example of an owner who is
And
smart at
literally,
just at
they
making
are
money,
the
but at
only
running an
ones
NBA
qualified.
organization.
The only owners qualified. The only one.
Yeah, let's not look at the
Anyone
Celtics
else,
new owners now. Let's not go down there.
and see what
Yeah,
happens. Like
Celtics new
watch
owners.
watch the stupid moves that are about to happen. Watch the stupid when the owners start running the
I mean, you
basketball,
got to
it's when the problems start happening.
you
Bill
got to give
Chisholm, your
you got
owner.
to give Clay Bennett some credit. Well, yeah, I mean, he's brand new, and his first job was to cut costs and get under the tax and pray. But an owner that never gets mentioned that should get like a lot of credit, Clay Bennett stole the team from Seattle, stole Kevin Durant from
Oh,
Seattle,
Thunder.
moved
Yeah.
him to OKC, immediate contender, hires the GM, capital T, capital G, capital M, and now they're set up for the next 10 years, not only with the team they have, but with a war chest of picks. And he
Yeah, but a
never
lot of
gets
dead
mentioned.
bodies along the way, though, Mike. So
There's
for David Stern, two of
always
the
dead
biggest
bodies along the
blights.
way, James. You're either one of them or you're
Two,
stepping over
well,
them.
three biggest blights
I don't
on
know.
David Stern's career. Three biggest black eyes for David Stern's career was the '84 draft pick for the Knicks, the Chris Paul Kobe Lakers veto trade, and allowing the Seattle Supersonics to be stolen the way it did. That goes down on David Stern's legacy. R.I.P. The fact that
Seattle's getting a
OKC is
team again,
flourishing
though.
now, we've been talking about that for a long time. Still waiting. Yes, and I did hear the rumblings earlier.
No,
This for midway through
they
this year.
just voted on the expansion. So
Yeah,
or they were
I think
voting on it. So like it's
you're
actually
right. You're
happening.
right. They did it
I would
around.
also say that I would also throw suspending Jordan for 2 seasons for gambling was one of his biggest mistakes.
Not a black eye. We've accepted it. We of the NBA community accepted it for what it was. It gave my guy time to rest. He lost his father. He came back rejuvenated. Anyway, I
The
think it's
league
Oh,
interesting.
needed a rest.
Howard Jonas? You can't sweep Donaghy under the rug. That was bad. Bad.
That
Real
was
bad.
that was
Go
league
watch
bad.
that. Go watch that Kobe Kings, Lakers Kings, the
Yeah,
Kobe
I
turnover. The
lived
last
it. I lived it. I was rooting for
gross,
the. Yeah, I remember
gross.
exactly where I was. I was rooting for the Kings.
Yeah, I was too as a Celtics fan. I remember it distinctly.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen, we are so far off topic now. I know we're supposed to do a wild card rant. Last comments before we say goodnight to everybody who's been watching us. Mike, you're our guest. You go first.
I go first. I was not ready to go first. LeBron is going to put on a show in one of these Thunder games.
Definitely.
I don't know which one.
Game 3.
I don't know if they're going to win. But, man, we're all of age. You know, you start to realize that you only got so many of these left in the tank, so many of these to do before it's taken away from you. I think based on what I saw last series, we're going to see a LeBron game in this series. Will it be enough for them to take a game? I don't know. We're going to see one where we wake up the next morning and Stephen A's on first take. He's 41 years old! How's he doing this? I think he's got one of those in him, and I'm hoping to see it.
You know what? I never thought I'd say this, but MJ, he's got competition. I'm telling you guys, the what I saw last night. Anyway, I don't want to give this guy more dead space in our podcast.
You got to work on your Stephen A. I mean,
Yeah,
what you were saying is that you got to be more hyperbolic.
yeah. I need to get my voice back. Need to get my voice back. Keith, our friend and family here to speak. Any last comments before we go?
Man, I'm liking the playoffs so far. it's always the best time of the year for me. I predict the second round. I predict the second round is going to be very short for the Lakers. Um, and the OKC. I think that I think that the Knicks. If next game to me is where the series is really going to start. All kind of excuses in the first game. We got rest. They didn't. They're coming up. Cool. This this next game, and actually even more so, the third game. To me, these next two games are the ones that will cement who's winning this series, or how long it's going to take to win this series. And if
No
Now, but
disagree
before
from
we
me.
sign off, I do have one more thing to say. It's not basketball related
Shoot, you're
because
our guest.
I don't think we're gonna pod again before this happens. I think we're gonna wait till round two is over. So I do want to wish my man James a happy 50th birthday, which is coming up in
Oh,
about 10
do not
days.
curse me like that. Oh my God! Now,
I've
now
known
he
this
gotta
man,
make it to my next pod with me alive.
James, I looked it up. I was looking at pictures on my phone. I've known you for exactly 2 decades now. It was May of 2006. I met you at Bryant Park Cafe. It's been a wild ride. We've both been through a lot. Kids, divorces, championships for me, less so for you. But it's
I was a
been
Golden State Warriors fan. See, the beauty of being a fan like me, I claim the 2008 Celtics. You know how bad that is? My daughter is still a Celtics fan to this day because she watched me root 2008 Celtics. She's a
like
Celtics
I
fan,
said, you'll
really a
never know
DC.
what it's really like.
So I can count that
You know who
championship
I'm talking about.
and four Golden State Warriors championships. I got five, baby.
Just stop,
But no,
stop,
but
stop,
Mike, for
stop.
real, appreciate your love, man. We've known each other for 20 decades.
And you don't look
Fantastic.
20
50. It's
decades.
amazing, man. Looking good. Bravo to you.
Happy
Appreciate it.
birthday.
And
Happy birthday,
thanks,
my
thanks,
brother.
gents. So for the rest of the audience, please leave comments. Don't be nasty. Don't be nasty. Say something nice. But also tell us your takes about the NBA, Celtics, Sixers, LeBron and his sperm, OKC, Wemby, everything that we talked about today. Please leave a comment, hit a thumbs up, share this. Like for our regular Heroes Peak guys, if this is not nerdy enough for you, still share it to a friend you know may be interested in the NBA. Um, and you can find us at YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, Blue Sky, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and TikTok. You will not find us at Trump Social. I'm sorry. And if you're one of those fans, you gotta wait for our military movies coming soon. Heroes Peak military movies. All right. With that being said, good night, everyone. See you in round three.
Hey, Indigo made the beat.